Today what we are learning about is technology and what actually the movement that enabled the entire social media movement to occur, which is cloud technology, cloud-based, the concept to be able to log in with a username and a password, and voila, you are actively using some software that's not hosted on your desktop. So we're joined by John from Adopt Technologies. Appreciate you joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. We were talking in the last couple of segments, kind of teasing you that we're going to talk about cybersecurity in relation to remote hosted desktop, and there's a lot of things that are important for you to know. But I'm going to let John talk about the basics of why it is that putting your desktops into the cloud rather than on a direct PC in your office, why does that make it more secure?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's actually one of the main topics that I come into on a daily basis when I'm talking to owners of their company is if they're going to hand over the livelihood of their company, all of the data and information, how do they know it's secure? Mm-hmm. And as the internet has, as technology has evolved over the years, everyone's gotten really comfortable with having their servers locked behind a door saying, I know if those lights are blinking, I have my data, my company is safe. However, we found that that's not true. Obviously, things can happen. From a simple fact of, if one of your sprinklers breaks, it gets flooded. If somebody actually physically breaks in, if they can touch your servers, they can have all of your information. Obviously, everyone's heard with cyber attacks. There are all different types of ways that a company, a small business, can actually be hacked. And most companies, I believe it's a statistic of almost 3/4 of companies have been hacked and they don't even know it. Or people have accessed their information one way or another and they wouldn't even know it. From an enterprise level cloud-based solution, instead of actually having your servers locally on site, we eliminate your need for all of that hardware, all of those servers, and we actually keep all of your information, all of your data, all of your programs, all of your software at our data center in Phoenix Snap. Phoenix Snap is the old Arizona Defense Building. There's no name on the building. You have to be buzzed in to get in. You have military trained guards in flak jackets behind bulletproof glass, retinal scanners, man traps. I mean, it's something out of a movie, sure. Essentially. It's a clean room. The temperature is monitored. They have redundancy upon redundancy with it. So obviously, if you're comparing the two behind a locked door in your office versus that type of security from a physical standpoint, there's just no comparison, especially for a small to medium-sized business. They would never be able to make that investment to protect their information in that realm. From a cyber level perspective, we have international watchguards that block specific IPs from very spam-laden parts of the world. If there is an IP or a spam attack that comes out, we just have watchguards that pop up, will automatically shut that down so none of the information can be corrupted. Mm-hmm. So from an enterprise level, so we're offering small to mid-sized businesses a very secure solution that they would typically not be able to go out and purchase themselves. And then even just on a local level, and you kind of made a point to it when you said you were owning your own company and you had those people walking away with your client list.
Right.
It's the same kind of a thing on a local desktop. Since none of the processing is being done at that laptop or that computer, all it is if you let somebody go, it's a flick of a button and they're locked out. Mm-hmm. Even if they walk away with the laptop, they have no information. It's just essentially a glorified internet connection. So it actually is very secure, keeps all of your information safe. So you don't have that. Or if somebody is at a coffee shop, somebody just walks by and grabs your laptop. All of that information is at their disposal to do whatever they'd like to do. So from a cloud basis, it's very secure from both the cyber as well as physical perspective.
And that includes the ability and the smartphones, being
Correct.
stolen all the time. That if all of your information is remote hosted, through your desktop, then again they can steal your cell phone, but not steal your soul. So now I want to reinforce what John was saying, that Obama actually issued, I think it's Executive Order 943. Which reinforces and creates some really, really strong, heavy-hitting it's his version of legislation, which he wrote with his own pen and didn't need the Congress to sign off on it, essentially making small businesses solely responsible for cyber attacks. Now, if anybody knows anything about cyber attacks are actually the #1 grossing criminal revenue act industry in the world. And so drugs are second to it, human trafficking, human slavery, all of those criminal industries that are massive industries that are way bigger than they should be, that are Fortune 500 level, Fortune 50 level companies, or I should say if they were considered in the company. And that's why there's some controversy once in a while when they start putting drug cartel owners in the Fortune 50. People say that's not fair. What, are you rewarding that? But at the same time, I think it's good awareness for people to know how much money is actually being made by criminals. So one of the industry that makes more money than any other type of criminal industry is cyber attacks. So Obama was not able to figure out, because the Pentagon gets hacked all the time, all the time. Now it gets attacked all the time and successfully attacked less often than that, but it's constantly under siege and more often than it should. There's a reason why China is consistently creating basically stealing our technology all the time, and sometimes we steal their technology and then they attack us and get the technology and say, see, look, you steal ours too. So our Pentagon is not as secure as we would like it to be, and so Obama decided to make it the small business owner's fault. And here's the thing about limited liability companies. If you have an LLC, now I'm not an attorney, I need to disclaim that, so anything I'm saying right here you need to go talk to your own attorney about. But my understanding of law firms, my understanding of the way that you set up a corporation is that you can't pierce that corporate veil. That's why it's called limited liability. It's limited to the liability is limited to the corporation, and it doesn't bleed over to your person unless you commit a criminal act. So it was very important for Obama to design a plan that made it a criminal act that you were committing as a small business owner. If you're cyber attacked, he designed it very craftily in such a way that if you are cyber attacked and, as you just shared, you don't know it, that's a criminal act to not know. So the 3/4 of businesses out there, according, if your statistics are correct, 3/4 of businesses out there, according to Obama, are criminals, and their corporate veils can be set aside, and they can actually be sued for everything they own personally, as well as everything inside the business. So it's very important that you take cyber security measures, and this is one of them, to be able to move to the cloud, if for no other reason than preservation of your company. Now let me tell you what I mean. They've also done other studies. We've done other shows on this, is why I'm all plentifully full of information, is that about 40% of all cyber attacks happen within the company on your PCs. So they'll do things, they'll do crazy things like a criminal, white-collar criminal industry initiates a boots-on-the-ground cyber attack. They'll actually go around in parking lots of companies and drop thumb drives in the parking lot that will actually have cyber breach software on it, in other words, viruses on it. Then the employee thinks, oh cool, here's a nice thumb drive. They put it in their computer, and they don't know that they have actually now breached, and they have just made their company, according to Obama, a criminal company, that now they can actually pierce that corporate veil and go after the officers of the company. So not only is it the owners of the company, it's the officers of the company that are now, so if there happens to be so if we have any CTOs, chief technology or chief information officers out there, you personally also become liable. So your assets personally become liable under the Obama executive order. They can liquidate not just the owners, but the responsible parties' personal assets can be liquidated as well. So it isn't just a matter of, hey, you know what, we kind of got a little bit better security. It's that you need to have the type of security that John is talking about. It is time for break. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about the types of software that are available through the remote hosted desktop. And so don't go away. We'll be right back after the break. This is Kurt Wilhelm, the host of The Social Universe, here on Voice America, joined by
John Cousier of Adopt Technologies.
Excellent. And you can actually reach them at adopttechnologies.com. Don't forget the 2 T's right after the PTT, so adopttechnologies.com. Or you can reach them at 480-422-6400. So don't go away. We'll be right back after the break for very just to know what the best applications are once you're in the remote hosted desktop scenario. We'll be right back after the break.